Sunday afternoon, everybody. That is not what I wanted to click. How is everybody doing? So we're gonna talk about UFOs and play some Final Fantasy. So I've been listening to a podcast that usually deals with things like various cults. They usually talk and interview people who have been cults and been in cults and evangelize people who have been in cults and help people who have been in cults. And they're doing a special series on UFOs and aliens, and I've always found this subject fascinating. I guess you could even say I've seen something, definitely something that would be unidentified when I was younger. I think it was 16 or 17. I saw the only thing that I could describe as is two stars chasing each other in the sky one night while I was driving home. I think I was 16 or 17. We lived out in the country. We lived way out in the country, and it was a clear night, and yeah, and I looked up and I follow this thing down our driveway. I don't follow it, but I can see it as I drive down our road to get home. And it was like a red and white light, or might have been a red and white light, might have been two white lights. I don't remember now, but they were chasing each other. It's the only way that I can describe it. And the thesis of this, thesis of the podcast I'm listening to, that the idea of aliens and UFOs causes epistemological trauma. Basically means that the thought that there might be aliens or an encounter with an UFO makes you question what you think you know in the world. That it's such a shock that it makes you question everything. And one of the guys they interviewed indicated that he had an experience like this in Iraq during one of the Gulf Wars, where he and his friend had an experience. They saw something. They said it was black, too black enough that you could see it against the night sky, and that he is still trying to process what he saw. He of course questioned it, didn't know what it was, but his friend, I guess the way he described it, is seeing it drove him mad, effectively, and he ended up unaliving himself. And I think this is very sad, but it's also interesting that if this was some sort of natural phenomenon, or if these were actually visitors from someplace else, why would it have that effect on somebody? Why would seeing or even have a lot of the effects that we hear about UFOs having on people? If this was a natural phenomena, or if these were alien visitors, I mean, if the Romulans showed up, and I'm standing on my balcony, and a bird of prey or one of their shuttlecrafts decloaked, and I saw, a Romulan spacecraft or, whatever. I don't understand why that would make you would be cause for questioning everything you know, to the point where it drives you mad, or like some of these other people do. They get drove into these deep, weird spiritualities. Oftentimes you see these experiencers, people who have had some sort of alien experience or saw something. They end up going deep into these weird spiritual directions. They get deep into the New Age and the occult, or they end up in cults. The Heaven's Gate guys from 30 years ago now or so, they were all about aliens and that sort of. They were waiting for an alien spaceship to come get them. So here's my question. So this sort of takes, this sort of reaction to this, in my mind, takes any sort of Daniel, watch the movie. Nope. That is on my list. I've seen it come up on streaming a few times. I've wanted to watch it. I think it looks interesting. I think it looks funny. But if it was, just a natural phenomena, if this was the Klingons visiting us, why would it cause epistemological damage? So I think it definitely points that some of these phenomena are not natural phenomena as we know them. They're not natural aliens or that sort of thing. I think it points to the idea that these are some sort of spiritual force, or something about or if they are some sort of natural phenomena, then they're doing something to people's brains when they see them. I don't know. It's interesting to think about, and I definitely don't have all the answers. I also don't think the government has any answers either. I don't know what's going on in my game. Agrees to something. Probably. I'll definitely have. I remember when the movie came out, and it's one that I've been meaning to watch, and I just haven't. It's one of those that I want to sit down and watch, and not just watch while I'm doing something else, like I often do with movies. So yeah, if I get a chance, I'll have to sit down and watch that. I have no idea what's going on in the game. But the other thing, I don't think the government knows either. I watched, a few years ago, I watched those hearings with David Rush and whoever else. And I don't trust David Rush. I don't know what he is, but I don't trust him. I watched him on Joe Rogan, and I think he's, I don't know if he's disinformation or if he's just a believer, but I don't think he actually knows anything. All of his answers were almost too in line with what you would expect somebody who knows something but aren't allowed to say it is. Like, I don't know if that even makes sense. But I just remember listening to it and thinking, I don't really believe this guy. I don't believe that we have biological entities hidden somewhere, I don't really believe that we have I honestly don't believe that the government has crafts or anything like that. I almost feel like that might be disinformation. But it's interesting to think about, and based on what I was saying earlier, if this is a spiritual phenomenon, are they hanging on to spiritual bodies? I don't even know how that would work. I do think the underwater sightings are neat. They're not as common, or at least not as reported. Of course, the ocean's a lot bigger. There's not as many people on it. Though, one of my favorite shows, and it was kind of a short-lived show, back in the 90s, was it was called Sequest. It was sort of Star Trek underwater. And they ended up dealing with underwater aliens in the last, I think it was only 3 or 4 seasons, and the last season and a half was dealing with underwater aliens. I don't actually remember if I ever saw the last season, so it's on Peacock, I think. I'll have to sit down and watch it again. I think Nope was on Peacock too. I'll have to see if it's still on there. That's kind of my little thoughts on aliens today. I'm listening to Cultish's podcast series on aliens this morning. And apparently, the bad guy in this is an alien too. So that kind of ties in. I hadn't thought of that. Except this is definitely not a friendly alien. Where am I going? I could talk about aliens longer, but I'm distracted by my game now. I did do a video know, it's probably been a year ago now, reacting to a pastor who claimed that aliens are somehow a sign of the rapture, or will be blamed for the rapture. And that's another thing that I've never actually managed to wrap my head around. Especially the way, and a lot of these, I've listened to a couple of them try to explain it, and like, they kind of cut their own branch off. They kind of cut the branch that they're sitting on off. The one guy explained it that when the rapture happened, I'm not a pre-tribulation rapture believer. I hold a different ideology, but some of these pre-tribulation rapture pastors will talk about how when the rapture happens and during the tribulation, the aliens, the rapture will be blamed on aliens. And the way, kind of, I mean, and that's, but that almost makes it make less sense. Because the way this guy said, he thought that he explained it was that, you know, the aliens would come and they were taking the Christians to a better place so that they could make the earth better. Which I think that cuts the branch they're trying to sit on us. Because if they're coming to bring a better life, but they've got the Christians to take out of the way and take them someplace, like, it just, I don't think the logic follows for them to do that. Like, I'm not following the logic with it. It would almost, if they wanted to take somebody else off to a better place, I mean, unless they came and said they just destroyed all the Christians and now things are better now that the Christians have been destroyed, like, but like, that would almost follow, that would be more logical than saying they took them off in their spaceship because they weren't going to believe in them. Like, I'm not sure, like, did they take them to a prison planet? Like, it's just, I don't think that their logic is sound. I think they're trying to weave something in popular thought, popular culture, into their theology to make it sensational. I don't think there's any logic behind it. I think they've just grabbed something and are trying to shoehorn it. Yeah, I think even what's his name, Pope. Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. 3 popes ago, the Pope in the 90s, whose name I can't remember. Whatever his Pope was, the guy like 3 popes ago, said he had baptized him too. Just fascinating. I haven't ever really listened to any Tom Ford. I've heard people say good things about him. But I don't think I've ever listened to him. And that's also interesting that they said they would baptize them. Again, what do you do with that? Because so if you can baptize them because Jesus came for the seed of Adam. So if you can baptize them, then that means they must be the seed of Adam or humans, because, I mean, we don't baptize dogs. So that, if there are, we'll say there, this is at least my thoughts on it, and this is where mine has always gone, is if there are aliens out there, we'll say, the Klingons and the Minbari and the Narn and the Vulcans or whoever's out there, right? They're actual, they're actual people, they're actual, like, sentient beings and creatures. We've only got a couple options. The first option is that they, if we can baptize them, then we've got to assume that they're somehow human seed, right? Since it wouldn't make any difference whether they're baptized or believe or not. If they're not in the line of Adam, then Jesus didn't die for them, and then baptizing them is just getting them wet, or whatever. Or if they are not of the seed of Adam, then they've got two other options. Then they would have to be effectively unfallen creatures, which means they can't, which means, again, they don't need to be baptized because they're not fallen, they're not part of the seed of Adam. And they're probably going to come to worship Jesus, or if they're fallen creatures, then again, they're not in the line of Adam. They can't be saved, they can't be baptized, and they're probably coming to deceive us. Or are going to be hostile or violent, or something like that. Oh, she got her voice back. And that is if they're not just some sort of, adaptation of, if they're, if that is, if they're anything. I mean, I don't think there's any evidence one way or the other than anecdotal evidence of what UFOs even are. How's my audio sound, Daniel? I know the last couple times I've done this, I've messed up the audio and it's been pretty bad. Cool. And the last one I did, actually the one I did yesterday, I went back and listened to it, and the audio was basically non-existent. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, she's cutting her hair. I'm sure I will. Have you listened to any of the cultish series that they just put out on the aliens? They this week they released a new 10-part alien series. It was from the same guy who did the first one, but it's real interesting. He ties. He's the one who did the interview with the veteran who had the alien experience in Iraq. It's the same guy who did the first one, and he's tying it into. Well, I haven't looked at all the titles, but the ones I've listened to, he's tied it into, he's looked at it from some of the popular ways, the Nephilim, the transhumanism, and the occult, and stuff like that. It's been really good again. Game's so 90s, the whole cutting their hair off, new hair, new her, such a 90s thing. Even though I think this came out in like 2001. Oh, Steve Quayle. I know the name. I know that name. I don't remember why I know that. I don't know if I ever. I wonder if Steve Quayle. I know that name. I don't know if I've ever listened to anything or any of his interviews, but I know that name. I wonder if... I wonder if I know his name from when I was I wonder if I know his name from when I used to listen to Coast AM when I was working overnights. Because he sounds like somebody who would have been on with Art Bell and my gosh, I can't think of the guy who took over after him. He sounded like he would have been somebody who was on with those guys. Oh yeah, good old Sumerian tablets. Okay, that's probably why. That's probably how the name, because I spent 3 or 4 years working overnights, and I was a religious listener to Art Bell and the guy who took over after, whose name I can't remember. Hagman, yeah, I know that name too. There we go. Hagman and Hagman. That's not actually one I'm familiar with. Opaphos prophecy. That's also not one I'm familiar with either. What is the Opaphos prophecy? He means God of destruction. Well, that's... Was that the... That wasn't the, like... Oh, okay. Yeah. The Apophis. Okay, yeah. I remember that. The Apophis prophecy, the the planet or the asteroid that was going to come and wreak havoc or something. Yeah, I've heard that. There was also the one in Russia, the Topanga event. It started with a T that took out like an entire forest or something, caused massive crater. That was, there's all sorts of theories about it. It happened in 1800s, early 1900s, something like that. Okay. Yeah, I guess technically I don't have enough followers to be doing this. I was trying to do something the other day, and I came across something that said that I had been approved for 14 days access, and then I would be reevaluated at 14 days, and one of the requirements is that I have 500 followers. I don't quite have 500 followers yet. I've got 240. So anybody coming on, give me a like so I can follow my page so I can keep doing this and try to start posting some more. Yeah, I need to start posting more. I posted a couple videos from when I was at the park the other day. I was playing with my camera. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd like that. We have to get Walter. I don't think Walter uses TikTok a whole lot. They have to convince him to get on. That sounds like a plan. much. Has anybody looked through any of the release documents that came out, what, a month ago, 2 months ago, all the documents the government released? I didn't look through any of them, but honestly, I didn't hear a lot about them. It was, it wasn't like the Epstein files where everybody was, finding new little nuggets of interestingness every week. It almost seemed like, I don't know if there was just nothing there, or if it wasn't interesting enough to talk about, because I don't remember seeing, at least not on any of my feeds, anybody doing podcasts or deep dives or anything into it. I heard almost nothing about it. Is that Tim Burchett, what is he, the senator from Florida? Tennessee. Oh, maybe I'll have to do my own. See if I can figure out where they're maybe start running stuff through Grok or Chat GPT or something and see if there's anything interesting in there. Because, other than just little snippets like that, I didn't hear anybody. And it could have just been, I wasn't looking for it too. Well, they had, what did they release? Like 1 million documents or something? Like, it was almost like an Epstein files released. I want to say it was a month ago or 2 months ago. Or am I dreaming? Vivi is the best boy. I love Vivi. Oh my gosh, how many is this the only thing on this island? The cannon houses? another accused marsh. Okay, here's something different. Purple people eaters. Something. No, don't use the girl to hit things with. Just heal it. Try to remember that. Or change your weapon. Oh, I'd like to see that. You'll have to send that to me. I need to learn how to put my chats in the video, because I'm streaming on Twitch and here on TikTok, and I'm sure the one person watching on Twitch has no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, that was way overkill. I'm assuming this is either another Q's Marsh or I'm going to be lost forever. I didn't bring Q with me. Q's still on the ship. Yeah. I don't want her hits heal. What have I done? I've obviously done something to where all of her attacks do healing instead of damage. Not sure what I did. Those are annoying. Of course. Just turn that.
would not have thought of life on rats.
Bring it. Oh. No. I needed Garnet to not die. So I played this game like 20 years ago when it first came out. And I got to the end. And I wasn't nearly powerful enough to finish the last boss, maybe the last two bosses. But then I've recently realized I didn't really understand how the ability system worked. So, kind of going back and trying to make sure, I'm like more than 2/3 of the way through the game. I'm trying to go back and make sure I have enough juice to beat the last guy. Thanks everybody who's He's not sending it, Daniel? That's weird. Are you sending it here or on Facebook? I ran into one of those Facebook encryption things a few days ago. All of a sudden it decided that I was not signed in or signed in too many times, or something had broke. I ended up just having to like close and open my browser 2 or 3 times before it like fixed itself. Yeah, I think they broke something recently. I don't know what it is, but I don't know exactly what, but I think they definitely broke something or messed something up. Of course, they're always breaking things, so that's not unusual. As long as they don't break Amazon again, we'll be fine. I wonder if it's that healer status. I wonder if that's why every attack she does heals. I bet that's it. This is upcoming. That's supposed to do something. Make me float. I'm not sure what that's supposed to do. Makes me float, but I don't know if that's supposed to make something worse or not. I don't understand. No. Poisoned. literally the only thing on this island. There's like 4 different enemies on this island. Fuck. Nope, that worked. I'm surprised. I didn't get any gil or anything for that. Okay. Note to self. get her learned Bahamut. Make sure she has all of her summons, because I don't remember what comes next. Oh, killing houses. Miss. That's funny. Alright, Bahamut is learned. Leviathan, so I've got Atamos? I don't know what Atamos is. I'm gonna look that up. Oh, okay, so Tamos is a summon Leviathan. I have Rama. The other one has Fenrir. Shiva. Shiva's easy to get. I have Ifrit. Odin. Let's do Odin. And I need to buy some more tents, apparently. Why not? There. How much overkill is this? That didn't kill them. What happened? That didn't kill them. Why didn't? Oh, okay.
Alright.
Make you tiny. Not quite sure. Of course, I'm not quite sure what the point of making them tiny is either. Then it's funny. that's a sign too. Interesting. I didn't know that. Alright, well it is time to get some dinner. I'll probably come back and see. Well, we'll see people. But maybe next time I'll actually get to the next destination. Alright, well, good night everybody.